Quim Torra has already taken office as Catalan president. Yet he did so with a very low-profile inauguration. No guests invited. The next step is to form a government which might set the first clash with Spain in his term. Hello, and welcome to Catalan News. After 7 months without a government, Catalonia has a new president. Quim Torra took his oath today during a very discreet event. He avoided any pomp in order to make it clear that the country is living under exceptional circumstances. Spain is still imposing direct rule until the new executive is formed, and its judiciary won't give up in its quest to extradite members of the cabinet preceding Torra's future one. On our show today, we'll get you the latest on this judicial news, and we'll also meet a group of people who are doing all they can to help the homeless in Barcelona. With loyalty to the will of the Catalan people as represented by Parliament. This is how Quim Torra took his oath this morning, the same words used by his predecessor Carles Puigdemont. This was, though, one of the only few things in common between both inaugurations. With a brief and low-profile event, Torra in fact wanted to make it clear that in his view, the president should be Puigdemont, not him, something that Spain's judiciary made impossible. It's Torra who, starting today, is the foremost authority in Catalonia.
Quim Torra is officially the new president of Catalonia. He took the oath of office today, 3 days after being elected by pro-independence parties in Parliament. Just like his predecessor Carles Puigdemont, he made no mention of the Spanish Constitution or the King.
Prometo complir lleialment les obligacions del càrrec de president de la Generalitat, amb fidelitat a la voluntat del poble de Catalunya, representat pel Parlament de Catalunya.
The ceremony was extremely sober. There were no guests, only the Parliament Speaker and Torra's family. There were no Spanish flags or pictures of the King either, and the Spanish government refused to attend the inauguration over protocol discrepancies. It's an exceptional time in Catalan politics. There was a lot of anticipation here today in the centre of Barcelona, both within the Catalan government headquarters and without. A crowd of people waited for the appearance of the newly sworn-in Quim Torra, but the ceremony was so discreet, in fact, that even some local passers-by were asking what is going on. In the end, the crowd died down, and Quim Torra never came out to make an appearance and greet his supporters. In contrast, previous presidential inaugurations were massive events attended by Spanish officials and representatives of all parties in Catalonia. In 2016, Puigdemont received the president's medallion from his predecessor Artur Mas, a tradition that dates back to the 1930s. Seeking refuge from Spanish justice in Germany, Puigdemont could not attend Torra's inauguration. The new president avoided wearing a medallion, and opposition parties did not like it.
Que sembla que el president Quim Torra no és conscient que ha de prendre les responsabilitats del seu càrrec.
I mai ningú havia fet tant de mal a la imatge de Catalunya en tan poc temps.
Torra will travel to Madrid tomorrow. He will visit Catalan ministers in prison and offer to reinstate them in their former posts. The formation of a new government in Catalonia should effectively put an end to almost 7 months of direct rule from Madrid. But Ciutadans, whose popularity is increasing in the polls, want direct rule to continue. Its leader urged the Spanish president to go even further and control Catalan finances, police, and also the public media.
As the debate on the exceptional political measures in Catalonia continues, the Spanish judiciary is willing to continue pursuits against Catalan politicians who are both in Spanish prisons and also abroad. And despite yesterday's decision by Belgium not to extradite 3 Catalan leaders who are there, the Spanish judiciary insists on the same strategy.
Barely a day after Belgium rejected the extradition of 3 Catalan officials in Brussels, the Spanish prosecutor is not throwing in the towel. Today, the Attorney General asked the Supreme Court to issue another European arrest warrant for the officials, which will be the 3rd time it has done so, with the court in Brussels dismissing the case, arguing that a national arrest warrant wasn't also in force. The prosecutor suggests restarting the extradition process. With Belgium's decision, all eyes are now on Germany. Will the court in Schleswig-Holstein make a similar ruling in Carles Puigdemont's case? The Spanish Supreme Court has already been in touch with German prosecutors to tell them that the arrest warrant they have complies with all requirements, and to warn them not to commit the same mistake, as they see it, as Belgium. Puigdemond's lawyers have also informed the Schleswig court about the developments in Belgium, but the court officials made no comment to Catalan News on whether they are assessing the same procedural defects. This came as the Spanish Justice Minister confirmed that the new Catalan president, Quim Torra, had not committed any offence of any kind.
No me consta en absoluto. No me consta que el señor Torra haya cometido ningún delito que provoque que la tenga que actuar la Fiscalía. No me consta en absoluto.
Yet a far-right party filed a lawsuit against Torra yesterday for hate speech and conspiracy to commit rebellion, for comments he made some years ago and for his role during the independence referendum. This party has brought a private lawsuit as part of the independence case, for which 9 Catalan politicians are in pre-trial prison. The Supreme Court today rejected further appeals to be released from 5 of them, including the former Catalan Parliament President, Carme Forcadell.
Moving on to business. Today we learned that an Argentinian multinational company specialized in satellites will set its European headquarters in Barcelona. The firm, called Satellogic, officially presented its seat in the Catalan capital today. Its officials estimate that this will bring 100 new jobs in the city over the next 2 years. The company uses small satellites around the Earth to get real-time data of our planet in several fields. According to Satellogic, information coming from the satellites can be applied to industries such as agriculture, market intelligence, disaster response, and pipeline and critical infrastructure monitoring. The firm has come to Barcelona saying that it's a city offering a lot of talent, research centers, and universities. But that's not all.
Y sobre todo muchas empresas en el ámbito que a nosotros nos interesa, que es el ámbito de los datos, del aprendizaje automático, machine learning, de la inteligencia artificial.
The European Commission is taking several member states to the European Union Court of Justice for exceeding air pollution limits set by Brussels. The Commission hasn't taken such action against Spain, at least for now, although it claims Mariano Rajoy's government is still not fulfilling the Union's standards. It also warned that it will continue closely monitoring air pollution in the urban areas of Madrid and Barcelona. Brussels hopes that measures presented in January are implemented and prove successful. The countries that will have to face the courts include France, Germany, Italy, and the UK. Another issue faced every day by cities is homelessness. Proposed solutions range from short to long term, spanning from housing development to emergency services, but it's hard to solve a problem without knowing its full scale. And almost 1,000 volunteers in Barcelona aim to do just that.
How many people sleep on the street in your city? This common issue is not often addressed, not nearly enough. In Barcelona, there are over 3,000 homeless people, and efforts are underway to get a fixed idea of the problem and raise awareness of an issue that, in the end, affects us all.
Perquè, malauradament, moltes vegades pateix una gran invisibilitat o a vegades una manca de consciència també de quina és la situació que tenen les persones per estar dormint avui al carrer. De fet, nosaltres per això sempre també diem que la línia és molt fina, tots som vulnerables i tots podem acabar en aquesta situació.
In the latest installment of a yearly initiative, almost 1,000 volunteers canvassed the Catalan capital in the early hours of this morning. They set out to count how many people sleep on the street, armed with a map and an app. They differentiated between those who sleep rough, literally spending the night on the street, counted at close to 1,000, and those who go to shelters tallied at over 2,000. The effort is promoted via a vast network to aid the homeless, including entities like the Barcelona City Council. Volunteers were split into several hundred groups. Participants ranged from social workers to local neighbors to people who had been homeless before themselves. They come through different Barcelona areas to document details about the people they found, including their gender, chosen shelter, and whether they were alone. The one thing they didn't do, wake them up or intrude on the person's privacy. Organizers insist that concrete steps must be taken to tackle this issue. To get a fixed idea of the problem, the total number of people who are homeless in Barcelona has gone up every year.
Today, the rights of lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, and queer folk worldwide are also in the spotlight. Initiatives in Catalonia joined in on the International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia today. For instance, at an event held in Tarragona, the Observatory Against Homophobia called on political authorities to effectively implement the Catalan law against such discriminations. The organization dedicated to fighting for LGBTQ rights also called on society to abandon prejudices against the community, for example, at the workplace. On Tuesday, we told you about Viva, a festival recreating the Roman era in Tarragona. But as we end our show today, we travel even further back in time, to prehistory. In the Covas del Toll caves in Moya, in central Catalonia, almost 2,000 students from across the country are learning different skill activities this week, which were once the daily life of their ancient ancestors. Enjoy, and we'll see you tomorrow.